日本語にの皆さん、こんばんは。キチン先生です。始めましょう。気をつけ。で、お願いします。では、始めましょう。Okay, 皆さん。Today we're going to be looking at the potential form, or sometimes I like to call it the can form, because we're taking regular verbs and making them into, instead of do, it becomes can do. Okay, so we're going to look at this today, but before we get going too far into that, we're going to do a quick verb review. Whenever we talk about conjugating verbs, we talk about 3 different types of verbs. They are, wait for it, the u verbs, for example, iku, or nomu, or hashiru. All right. Next are ru verbs, taberu, okiru, and neru. All right. Examples of those. And our last group, as you guys know, it's irregular verbs, which are suru and kuru. All right. And so we always check, and we need to know which verbs fit into which category so that we know how to conjugate them properly. So today we're going to walk through each one of those. And so as we go, just pay attention to how each group changes. So we'll start with our u verb friends. And so iku is one of our examples of an u verb. And so iku ends with a ku. You can see that. For the potential verb, we are going to change this last part and put it into the A column. So what does that mean? Well, for iku, what that means is ku becomes ke, because u needs to become A, right? So ike, and then we add a ru on the end. So it's ikeru, right? So iku, ikeru, all right? So what would that look like with kau, right? To buy. How do we make it can buy? So we have u becomes a, and we add ru, so it's kaeru, okay? Which means can buy, all right? What about kaeru? See what I did there? Japanese can be confusing that way, so kaeru. What do we do? That is an u verb. Okay, so we got to take ru and put it into the A column, so it'll become re, and add ru on the end. So it becomes kaereru. Okay? Iku, ikeru. Kau, kaeru. Kaeru, kaereru. Okay? So far, so good. Let's look at the ru verbs now. So we always talk about taberu. So for this, we're going to add a rure in here, and it will be taberareru. Taberareru. It's good practice for your pronunciation to get the rareru sound. All right, taberareru. Next, we have neru. Becomes nerareru. Now, just a quick side note. In conversation, a lot of Japanese people will drop this ra, and so they'll just say tabereru or nereru. Okay, and so sometimes you'll hear that. For our purposes, we're going to keep it in there. You can always drop it as you see appropriate later on in life, but at least in written, it's usually good to keep it in there. Okay. Let's get on to the irregular verbs. So our 2 irregular verbs again are suru and kuru. So we'll start with suru. So suru is kind of a special one, as always. It's irregular. So suru becomes dekiru. Okay, they don't have anything to do with each other, but that's just how it is. So you got to memorize that. Suru becomes dekiru. Suru, dekiru. All right. Kuru. And you note that I did not write it in kanji, even though we know it. And the reason is that kuru becomes korareru. This ko is the same kanji as this ku. But I wanted to see you to see the difference in the pronunciation. So it's similar to a ru verb, but it changes a little bit. This is how it's irregular. So kuru becomes korareru. Okay. So I know I went through that really quickly. You can feel free to kind of go back and look at those to see how they all change. But we just quickly went through how u verbs change, how ru verbs change, and then here are our couple irregular verbs. Now, before we go, I wanted to talk a little bit about sentence structure. So if we take a normal sentence, 私は寿司を作る. Right? I make sushi. And I don't want to be like, no, I can make sushi because true story, right? And so what we do, obviously, we need a potential verb in here. So we're going to go tsukureru. And then basically we can leave it the same. Sometimes you'll find that people will switch this o to a ga. And you can use either particle here. Watashi wa sushi o tsukureru and watashi wa sushi ga tsukureru. Both of those are acceptable in this case. All right. So basically, in this context, all you're doing is changing tsukuru to tsukureru, right? Make to can make. Now, what about watashi wa tennis o suru? Okay. Remember that suru had a special potential verb. What was it? Yes, it was dekiru. All right. So watashi wa tennis. Now, for this one, we cannot say watashi wa tennis o dekiru. We must get rid of the o and say ga. And so this is a really important thing. Be sure to note this down. With dekiru, o has to become ga. All right. Everything else, your normal sentences particles should remain the same. Just be sure to take your normal verb and change it into the potential form. And then it becomes, instead of I play tennis, I can play tennis. Okay. Now, last thing that we do before I let you go, just conjugating within the potential form. And here I have good news for you. And so the question is, now you know taberareru. What about the mas form? What about the nai form? What about the te form? The good news is, once we are in the potential form, all potential verbs are ru verbs. What I mean by that is you get rid of ru, you add mas, you get rid of ru, you add nai, ru, you add te, you have it follows all the rules that a normal ru verb would follow. Okay. And so taberu or taberareru is originally a ru verb. So let's look at another one, nomeru, right? Nomeru can drink. So if it follows all of the normal ru conventions, we can get rid of ru, nomemasu, ru, nomenai, and we get nomemasu, nomenai, nomete. Okay. And so the good news is, once you get it into the actual potential form, you are in good shape. Okay. So I know it's been quick. Hopefully that makes sense. Feel free to kind of scroll back and check through the conjugations of that. But we'll be spending some time with it with you in class on Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well. じゃあ、終わりましょう。気をつけ。ね。ありがとうございました。じゃあ皆さん。